what's going on? We are back again with more One Piece. Today we're going to be going through Volume 7, but I feel it's best if I say this while you see my face. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another live reading as I go through the entirety of One Piece. Kagan, you said, what chapter are we on? We are going to be going through chapters 54 all the way to 62. But yeah, we will be reading through Volume 7 today, and I can't wait to continue reading. I really have been enjoying reading One Piece for all of you. You know, aside from my usual reactions, I'm really glad I have this opportunity to give you the entire One Piece story from the very beginning. I don't know if anyone else is currently doing what I'm doing, reading the entire story of One Piece volume to volume, but if I am the only person doing this, hey, at least I got that under my belt. But thank you for the continued support of this series and the continued support of this channel. I love what I do. Every single time I get in front of this camera, in front of all of you, I look forward to doing this. I look forward to reading stuff to you, playing games for you, and reacting to all sorts of different things. I just enjoy all of it. So, last we left off, Don Krieg showed up and pretty much told everyone that, hey, I'm the strongest in these seas, so this restaurant is mine now. And all of you cooks, you are all mine as well. If you don't want to die when I get back, I suggest you leave. But he basically just proclaimed, like, hey, I'm the strongest around here. I'm not giving you a choice. That's an order. You will give me this restaurant. And Nami has pretty much taken off with the Mary. That's gone while Usopp and Zoro go after her, because Zoro also came across Dracul Mihawk. The introduction of Dracul Mihawk in this series, the world's greatest swordsman, and currently a person that eclipses Zoro in strength, in pure skill and strength alone, as he basically defeats Zoro initially with just a small knife from the cross pendant that he wears, and then cleaving a massive cut across his chest when Zoro lost to him. And thus, since the last volume was called The Oath, Zoro gave an oath that he would never lose again from that point on. So he's off with Usopp, Yosaku, and Johnny as they chase down Nami, while Luffy stays behind so that he can recruit Sanji, but also to take down Don Krieg, who's, trying to take over the Baratie right now. So let's begin with today's volume. Volume 7, The Crap Geezer. And the chapters, well, first let's get the story of One Piece Volume 7. The Story of One Piece, Volume 7. Monkey D. Luffy started out as just a kid with a dream, and that dream was to become the greatest pirate in history. I always get messed up with that. I always get messed up in history because it's cut off. Stirred by the tales of pirate red-haired Shanks, Luffy vowed to become a pirate himself. That was before the enchanted devil fruit gave Luffy the power to stretch like rubber, at the cost of being unable to swim. A serious handicap for an aspiring sea dog. Undeterred, Luffy set out to sea and recruited some crewmates, Master Swordsman Zoro, treasure hunting thief Nami, and lying sharpshooter Usopp. Luffy and his crew sailed to Baratie, the ocean-going restaurant. I always get taken aback by them saying ocean-going restaurant. The ocean-going restaurant, to find themselves a ship's cook. There, Luffy takes a liking to the arrogant but merciful Sanji, and asks him to join the crew. Unfortunately, before he can be recruited, Don Krieg and his 5,000 pirates arrive on the scene. After Sanji takes pity on the starving Krieg and gives him food, Krieg is completely revitalized, but the pirate repays good with evil by trying to take over the ship. So the battle for the Baratie begins. Then, suddenly the sea rumbles, and Hawkeye Mihawk, reputed to be the world's greatest swordsman, appears. Zoro, who aspires to win that title for himself, challenges Mihawk. Zoro is defeated, but vows never to lose again. Mihawk departs, and the deadly battle with Krieg's pirate resumes. Hey, Ogata-san, good to see you. Chapters 54 through 62. Chapter 54! Pearl! Buggy's crew after the battle. Part 14, Pirate Alliance. So Buggy is speaking to this woman who saved him out at sea, and they both vow to go over Luffy, while Buggy is happy that he's finally getting some good food to eat. But it shows the mackerel ship that Patty and Karn were swimming in and shooting at the Krieg pirates. It shows it falling into the ocean because Krieg, they tried to run down Krieg and shoot at him, but he basically took one hand and threw the entire mackerel head up into the air. Before it could hit the Baratie, Sanji jumped up and kicked it away with just one kick, surprising everyone, including Don Krieg. Then we cut to the Krieg pirates.
What leg strength! He deflected the fish head!
And then Don Krieg. A kick technique. And Zeph doesn't say anything. And Luffy, good job! And then it cuts to Patty. It cuts to Patty and Karn, who are, struggling to get out of the mackerel head because Sanji's kick caused it to hit the outer decks of the restaurant. Sanji, you jerk!
You trying to kill your own allies?
And Sanji doesn't say anything, and he just goes, yeah. Yeah? Why, you boy squid.
You almost destroyed 2 valuable military assets, spaghetti head!
And then it cuts to someone going,
military assets? Armed or not, a cook's a cook.
Wise up and go. Oh, wait, who is saying this? This is not Sanji saying this. This is someone else saying it.
Military assets, armed or not, a cook's a cook. Wise up and go be cooks on dry land.
And it shows a cook being knocked back by somebody. And it shows the Krieg pirates who apparently did short work of some of the cooks who ran out to meet them earlier.
Don't think we're just ordinary pirates. We work for Don Krieg, Lord of the East Blue.
And then it cuts to some of the cooks getting up. Darn, these guys are tough.
Aye, they are tougher than the sharks we've chased off before.
What are you swabs losing so easily for?
Are you fighting cooks or wimps? Fighting cooks indeed. Fighting is our profession. Now hand this grub joint over.
Then it cuts to Patty and Karn, who still stand their ground. We've been cooks for more than 10 years. We worked in 300 restaurants, but we always get fired for fighting. Those were hard times.
And after wandering for years, we finally found a home here. Here you can cook and fight to your heart's content.
There ain't no other grub shop like this one.
You think we'd hand it over to you, sea rats?
And it cuts to Patty and Karn just cutting through a bunch of Krieg's pirates.
Yikes, they're like devils!
Taste the power of sea cooks! Then it cuts to someone swimming over to the deck of the Baratie, the extended deck, and someone gets out of it, and the Krieg pirates are looking like, huh? And it's some weird-looking individual that has like a Clark Kent's cowlick, Superman's cowlick on his head, and he's wearing something, but he goes, what do you think you're doing?
Hey, why are they?
And it shows both Patty and Karn getting knocked away by this individual. Ha 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 ha! Invincible is here! Krieg's Pirates, 2nd Unit Commander, Invincible Pearl. I completely forgot that this dude existed in One Piece. It's been that long, I forgot he existed. God, it's been so long since this arc happened. Krieg's Pirates, 2nd Unit Commander, Invincible Pearl. I'm peerless, too!
Pearl! Patty! Karn! You two alright?
Haha, of course they're not alright. They were on the receiving end of my killer punch, the Pearl Surprise. And Pearl is wearing, like, multiple shields all over his body. One over his chest, and over his elbows, and his knees. He's even got pearls on his shoes, and he's wielding 2 shields with pearls on the end as well. He's just decked out in pearls. Didn't know his nickname was Invincible? Ogata, this is going to be, me going through One Piece is going to be quite possibly the biggest One Piece refresher anyone ever experiences on this channel. It really is going to be a massive refresher. 82 days of One Piece. That sounds like 31 days of Halloween, doesn't it? But yeah, he's nicknamed Invincible. Of course they're not alright. They were on the receiving end of my killer punch, the Pearl Surprise! Then it cuts to one Krieg pirate going up to Patty, who's currently knocked out.
Hey, look, a fancy knife. I'll take that. It looks better than mine.
And before this pirate can take away the knife from Patty, Patty grabs hold of his hand. He literally grabs hold of the blade itself.
Hey, let go!
And then it cuts to Sanji, who's just, his eye is being obscured. And then the same pirate goes,
let it go! You should be dead!
And then he notices someone come up next to him, as it's Sanji, who comes sailing in, nailing this dude straight in the face, with enough force to send him flying across the area, into one guy, into another guy, into another guy, and they all get sent flying towards Pearl, and they all slam into Pearl, but Pearl doesn't move. They just bounce off of him. They just all, like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 dudes that got squashed all together getting sent flying by Sanji's kick. All because of one guy. And this dude, the first dude that got kicked, is going,
What happened?
And Sanji's standing there as he catches the still falling knife in his hands. And then all the dudes that got kicked by Sanji suddenly fall to the ground after, getting launched that way. No matter how many times I see it, Sanji's kick still amazes me. And then Sanji holds up the knife going, a chef's knife is his soul. A crap bum like you had better not touch it. Sanji! Here, hold it tightly while you die. I'll take care of them. And then it cuts to more Krieg's pirates running up.
Take care of us? A bunch of lousy cooks aren't gonna beat us.
And one tries to stab Sanji with his sword, but he's suddenly gone.
Huh? What?
And then it shows, before end of year, we will see all of this in live action. It's gonna be funny. I wonder how far I'm gonna end up. I wonder how far I'll be with One Piece's recap, this full series read-through, before the Netflix live action show comes out. I wonder. Interesting.
Huh? What?
And it shows Sanji doing a handstand and sweeping the legs out of every single pirate near him. And then every single one of those pirates that got swept up in this attack all get boots, all get feet in their faces from Sanji as he lands a kick on every single one of them. And then Sanji responds to the lousy cook comment going, lousy cooks, you're going down for that. Then it cuts to Pearl. Ha! So you beat them down with kicks alone. You seem pretty clever. Is that your fighting style? I hope it won't suck. I hope it doesn't either. Oda's in charge of making sure that it lines up with his vision, so we'll just have to see how it goes. We definitely need a new trailer that showcases some action just to see how things are going to line up for it. So yeah, let's keep an eye out for that first. You seem pretty clever. Is that your fighting style? A cook's hands are his life. I can't risk damaging them in battle. I'll finish you with just my feet, too. You're going to finish me? Impossible! In 61 battles to the death, I've won them all, without being cut. I'm the invincible Iron Wall. You protect your hands, but I protect my whole body when I fight. I've never lost a single drop of blood in battle. Not one drop. And no cuts. That's how tough I am. As he, clangs his hand shields together. I'm Pearl, the invincible Iron Wall of Krieg's pirate crew. I'm the shield man, and I'm handsome too. Oh, and he's also modest. And as smooth as polished silver. And Luffy's looking back going, what the heck? Hey, Straw Hat, never take your eyes off of your opponent. As it shows Krieg taking what looks to be like a spiked ball and chain and slamming it through the post that Luffy's attached to. Because mind you, this whole post was still sinking in the ocean, and Luffy doesn't exactly have any good footholds to stand on. But that post gets destroyed as Luffy is still airborne as Krieg goes, "Die!" and then sends a spike ball headed straight towards Luffy. And then it cuts to Sanji versus Pearl. "You brag well, but let's see you beat me without getting injured." "A cannonball shot from a Navy ship couldn't hurt me," as Sanji kicks towards Pearl, and Pearl blocks it. "I can take any attack without getting a scratch." And as soon as he says this, Pearl has his face up in front of his shield, very kind of close. And guess who comes sailing in, knocking Pearl in the back of the head and causing his face to slam into the Pearl? Luffy! Cedes, what's going on? We are on the first chapter of Volume 7 of One Piece. We've been introduced to the second unit commander of Don Krieg's pirates, named Pearl. And Pearl has been, boasting a whole bunch about how his defense is great and no one's been able to hurt him or harm him. And, Luffy just came sailing in because of Don Krieg and he hits Pearl in the back of the head. "Huh? Whew! That scared me," says Luffy, and then Pearl's just looking down. "I'm sure glad I didn't fall into the ocean." "Huh?" goes Luffy as he's looking back at Pearl, who suddenly realizes that he's bleeding from the nose. Remember when he said he's never lost a single drop of blood in battle? And here he is, bleeding. The very same minute he was boasting about how he's never seen a drop of blood, he's never drawn a drop of blood in battle, and he's now bleeding. What? Then it cuts to Krieg. "This is bad. This is bad. It's blood! Oh no!" And that's the end of chapter 54. Now we got some more SBS. Question: Master A, what time is it now? Oda's answer: 9 past midnight. It's time for Question Corner. Question: Does Shanks like me? Answer: I don't know. Question: Oda-sensei, the other day a friend said I've got the perfect devil fruit for you, and he gave me some strange-looking fruit and I ate it. It might be my imagination, but ever since then I feel like all the jokes I tell are flops. And then Oda answers, "Oh, you ate that one, eh? Yeah, I know that one. It's definitely a samu chili fruit. When you eat that fruit, only really bad chili jokes come out of your mouth. And you can't swim, of course. It's kind of like being stepped on and then kicked." And then Oda's just laughing at this dude. Question: In Volume 1, when the mountain bandits enter the tavern, they break down the door. So why is it fixed when they leave? Answer: That's Mr. Minatomo, the carpenter's doing. He's very impatient, so if he sees something like a broken door, he has to fix it right away. It was certainly not a mistake on my part. And that's the end of the SBS. Onwards to Chapter 52, Jungle Blood. Buggy's crew, after the battle, Part 15. Oh, Captain, you're in our hearts. As it shows the Buggy pirates holding up like some sort of makeshift funeral mound with Buggy's face on it because they think he's dead, while they still have his still roped up bound body parts sitting right there in front of them. And everyone is crying their eyes out over the apparent loss of their captain. But we cut back to Pearl, who's bleeding, and he goes, "Blood?
Now, Pearl, it'll be okay. It's just a bloody nose. It's not a battle wound or anything. Take it easy, Pearl, please."
And then the chefs are going, "What's going on?" "My invincible shield failed. This guy is dangerous." "What's that? He's acting weird," goes Sanji, and then Luffy, digging in his nose, goes, "Is it the bloody nose?" And then it cuts back to Krieg as he screams, "Stop, Pearl! It's just a little blood! You're not in the jungle anymore!" And then the cooks are going, "What's going on?" "Danger! Danger!
Pearl, calm down!"
And it cuts to Pearl as he keeps slamming his pearls together until he screams out, "Danger!" And his whole body gets engulfed in fire. His whole body gets engulfed in fire just immediately while he's screaming this. "Fire?
Oh no, the fire! It's a defensive habit he developed as a child. Pearl grew up in the jungle with wild beasts. When he senses danger, he makes flames. What? To keep the animals away?
Get away from me! Fire pearls! And then Pearl has multiple pearls between his fingers. And it looks like he throws these pearls at Luffy and Sanji. Lucky you! And then it cuts to Luffy and Sanji dodging out of the way.
Ah! Hot! Pearl, please stop! This is bad. He'll catch our restaurant on fire.
Burn! With my fire, my flaming shield, I'm super invincible! Then it cuts to, in SBS, most questions are from children, so using child voice for questions might be more fun. I'll try it out. We'll see in the next SBS. But it cuts to Don Krieg as he goes,
Pearl, you fool. You'll burn the whole ship.
Then it cuts to Sanji who's going, huh. And Luffy, who apparently has the back seat of his pants on fire, goes, hot! And then it cuts to other people going, we're doomed! We're caught between fire and sea! There's nowhere for us to go!
The heat! This is bad! Jump into the ocean!
As some of the not those pirates, but as some of the Don Krieg pirates jump into the ocean because they've been set on fire by fire pearls. And Sanji goes, as someone screams, we can't get near him!
Why you? The ship!
Fool! You'll be burned alive, crap, Sanji!
Patty, stay back! This ship isn't yours to burn!
As it cuts to Sanji jumping above the still on fire Pearl, and as Pearl sees him, he brings up one of his shields in order to keep Sanji from kicking him.
What kind of fool move is that? Does he want to be a human bonfire? What? Not even wild animals would jump that wall of fire.
Moron, you can't be a cook if you're afraid of fire. As it shows that Sanji is completely unscathed from kicking Pearl. Darn! This one's smooth as polished silver! Flaming Pearl surprise! And it shows Pearl trying to hit Sanji with this flaming Pearl shield, but he dodges and lands a front flip heel kick directly into Pearl's face.
Whoa! He did it! He got past Invincible Pearl's shield!
And then it shows Pearl falling to the ground.
That's one tough cook, but this is really bad.
How dare you! Danger! Big danger! Eat pearls! Pearls on fire! And then it shows Pearl throwing even more pearls in the direction of the restaurant. And then it shows Zeph on the ship as well.
Ah! He'll burn the ship! If the fire reaches the galley, it'll blow! Chef Zeph, run for it!
And Zeph doesn't move. But in a swift motion, he kicks. He kicks with the same peg leg, and all the flames that were on the pearls suddenly and instantly go out. And the pearls themselves just, ting, ting, off of the side of the ship.
Even with one leg, that was nothing. Whoa! Huh? Hooray! You're awesome, Chef!
He put out the fire with a blast of wind from his kick.
It's a miracle! Red Shoe Zeph is alive and kicking!
Nice move, mister, goes Luffy. And then it cuts back to Don Krieg.
That Pearl, always complicating things. Before you can set fire to that ship, I'll sink you, fins and all!
And it shows Don Krieg using that same ball and chain as he brings it down in the same area of Sanji and Pearl. Sanji, look out!
It's hopeless! He's surrounded by fire!
And it cuts to Luffy, who jumps through the flames.
Chore boy!
Come, bazooka! And Luffy jumps in between Sanji and this iron ball to send it careening right back into the air, much to Don Krieg's surprise.
Hot! He bounced it back!
And that same That same iron ball sails right next to Krieg, destroying a sail post that's right there next to him, which then causes that same post to fall down directly on the head of Pearl.
Pow!
And it cuts to Pearl, he's basically defeated. Pearl got done in by a piece of his own former ship. And then Sanji, what a freak. Stupid too. All these pirates and I gotta do everything myself.
Ah!
And then it cuts to Gin. Hold it right there, Sanji. I don't want to kill you. As it shows him pointing a gun at the head of Zeph. Gin! Gin, why you? And that's the end of chapter 55. Onwards to chapter 56. But before that, SBS. And due to the request of Ravi, question.
Why does Sanji's eyebrows curl up at the ends? Is it a fashion statement? If you ask me, it's lame.
Hey, sit down. Now, listen. All people owe their lives. Look here. Look, listen. All people owe their lives to circling. The sun and the moon and the earth all go around in circles. What if the circling of the earth suddenly stopped? The whole world would be deluged by gigantic waves and there would be a terrible disaster. So remember that Sanji's eyebrows have that kind of energy. Repent! Dismissed! Next question.
A question. How old is Sanji?
Answer. 19 years old, just like Zoro. Question.
Nami, 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 Nami. I love Nami. I won't give Nami up to the likes of Sanji. Therefore, I challenge him to a duel for Nami. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 on the red line. Don't you run for me. Is that okay, Oda-sensei?
And then Oda responds with, okay, fight! Then last question.
How many assistants do you have? What kind of things do they do?
And then Oda answers, I have 4 at the time of this OBS. They help with the backgrounds and stuff like that. They come to help for 2 nights and 3 days each week, sleeping over. Frankly, without these people, it would be impossible to complete a script in a week. But it's a really goofy workplace, so we have a lot of fun working on the manga. And that is the type of workplace you want. A workplace where people enjoy what they do. They have fun doing what they do. Because if you have people who enjoy what they do at their workplace, and it's a whole group of people who enjoy what they do at the workplace, morale is high. Morale is high, productivity is high, because people actually want to work. And if you want to see what the opposite looks like, go to any retail store. Trust me, I know. I've been to at least 3 different versions. Electronics store, a furniture store, and lastly, a grocery store. I've never worked at a place where morale is constantly high for people who aren't getting paid more than me. And even then, it has its limits. Chapter 56, I refuse. And then it cuts to Gin, who's pointing a gun at owner Zeph, whose peg leg has apparently been broken. I don't care if he was a living legend. Now he's just a cook. I got no problem splattering his brains on the deck. As it shows Gin holding the peg leg, a piece of the peg leg in his hand. That scallywag, he broke Chef's peg leg.
That bilge rat. Chef!
That traitor, I'll send him flying, goes Luffy. Wait, let's hear what he has to say. You want your chef to live? You want your chef to live, don't you, Sanji? Then get off this ship.
Thank goodness, I was afraid Pearl would go nuts again. And they were winning.
Get off this ship. I refuse, says Sanji. And in the next page, it just shows a surprised face on Luffy, and then it shows Don Krieg's face.
Sanji, you idiot! Don't provoke him! Chef is...
You look pathetic, crap geezer. You're setting a bad example for the fighting cooks.
Ha! I don't want to hear nothing from you, eggplant head.
Don't call me that, you crap geezer! Stop treating me like a child!
Sanji, this is no time for that! Ain't he gonna say the chef?
Gin, your pistol. Aim it at me.
Are you crazy? You'll be killed,
says Luffy. Maybe.
What? What did he say? Sanji!
Sanji, why? If you want to die so bad, I'll polish you. If you want to die so bad, I'll polish you off like your silver! And it cuts to Pearl, who's apparently conscious again. I never imagined that I, Invincible Pearl, would get 2 bloody noses in one battle. I'm feeling threatened, so don't move or I'll blast your chef to Kingdom Come! And then it cuts to Geen, who's just looking surprised at seeing Pearl up. The absolutely natural Pearl surprise! And Pearl manages to land a solid hit directly on Sanji's face, sending Sanji toppling backwards and into the nearby wall right next to Owner Zeph at the front of this restaurant. Sanji! You ruined my perfect record of no injuries. Why you? Don't touch him, chore boy. Why didn't you duck, Sanji? That crap underling will kill the chef. It's not fair, Geen. It's not fair, Geen. I can't do what you ask. Why not? It's easy. Leave this ship and you'll all be spared. Just go and everybody. This ship is the geezer's pride and joy.
Sanji! But Sanji hates the chef.
I took everything that old man had. What? What? His strength, his dreams, so I'll never let anything else be taken from him.
This is no time to spout rubbish, eggplant head,
goes Zeph, as Sanji is just going on a rant. And then Sanji continues. Shut up! I told you to stop treating me like a child! Sanji, look out! Then it cuts to Pearl, who's right behind Sanji, raising up his shields going, Pearl, symbols! And he proceeds to take his shields with the solid pearls on it and bash Sanji's head in between them, like getting his head and his neck included in this too. And then it shows Sanji falling with blood shooting out of his mouth because he's getting messed up. Sanji! And Luffy is looking more and more angry, and then Ging just watches. And so does Don Krieg. I'm tired of listening to his problems. And then it cuts to Sanji, who falls to the ground. Pearl, diver! And then Pearl punches towards the ground, sending him flying into the air. He's flying! And Luffy is looking at Geen. And then Luffy's looking at Geen and he's getting angry, going, that was a cheap shot, Geen. We fight for keeps, kid. You brought this on yourselves. If you just handed over the ship, you could have gone in peace. Tarnished silver?
Get out of the way, Sanji!
Surprise! And it cuts to Sanji, who's just able to look up. Just a little bit, because he's laying on his face. He's just able to look up a little. As Pearl dives headfirst into Sanji's back. Mind you, Pearl is a very tall dude wearing very heavy shields. And he just comes down on Sanji's back. And all the chefs are going, bully! As they're seeing Sanji getting harmed. And it cuts to Pearl, who's laughing. Invincible! Then it cuts to the fighting cooks. You took something from Chef? What happened, Sanji? And then it cuts to a flashback. The All Blue?
The All Blue?
Yes, you don't know? It's the name of the legendary ocean. Passenger ship, Orbit. Don't be stupid, of course I know it. Oh wait, it's cutting to a chef going, the All Blue?
Yes, yes, you don't know? It's the name of the legendary ocean.
Don't be stupid, of course I know, but we're seafaring cooks. We've all dreamed of sailing that ocean at least once.
I knew it! Someday, I'm gonna find that ocean.
Sanji, 9 years old, cook's apprentice on the Orbit. That's Sanji, always talking big. A legend is only a legend, boy. You can't find something that's not there.
Oh, it's there.
Think about it. East blue, west blue, north blue, south blue. All blues supposed to have every kind of fish from the other oceans. If there really was such a place, then for a seafaring cook it would be a paradise. Seafood from all over the world at your fingertips. It'd make any cook drool.
Aye, I'd risk me life to find waters like that.
And trust me, I am reading this stuff word for word.
If it really existed. But a wondrous ocean like the Old Blue is impossible. Doesn't take much brains to figure that out. Probably some dreaming cook made it up.
All right, enough fairy tales. Back to work. Bust those tables, Sanji. It's time to clean up. And it cuts to Sanji, who's upset that they're not taking him seriously. Then it cuts to some people cuts to the cooks throwing some food away.
Ah, what a waste. They left so much food.
This one's hardly been touched. I cooked it myself. Customers these days are extravagant. See, that's because I'm behind the mentality of finishing everything on my plate. When me and my family went to go out to eat, I got myself some garlic-crusted sea bass with a side of lobster mac and cheese, and I ate it all. Even though the lobster mac and cheese was like a big dish this big, and the sea bass was like really that thick, it was good, by the way. I ate everything, because that's the mentality I have. I refuse to go to a restaurant, and I don't eat all the food. These people don't waste all this time just for you to eat half of the food.
Cut that out! You're eating off dirty plates like dogs! I just threw out some food that looked bad. We have plenty of food. Besides, in 2 days we'll be in port.
Ha! You can tell you're a greenhorn. We're seafaring cooks, lad. You never know what may happen at sea. We don't waste nothing. See? The same mentality I have.
How about it? Want some?
No thanks.
Then it cuts to another ship that's sailing up to the orbit.
Ah!
Calm down, everybody just calm down.
What's all the commotion about?
It's pirates, lad. They're pillaging the ship.
Pirates?
Pull her close. Pull her close.
Aye, Captain.
Captain of the pirate cooks, Red Shoes Zeph. This must be the moment where Sanji met Zeph. And that's the end of chapter 56. Also, we have a special page here. This is The Mystery of Ultimate Muscle 77. I drew it for the Shueisha Jump Comics collection selection new superhero contest. Entry number 12, Panda Man. Panda Man, who somehow looks cool despite having a panda face, is the new superhero from Oda Sensei, whose popular One Piece also runs in Shonen Jump magazine. Conceived by Eiichiro Oda Sensei. Data, name, Panda Man. Origin, Tibet. Age, he doesn't know. Height, 6'6". Weight, 270 pounds. Superhuman strength, after eating bamboo, 3,300,000 power. Before meals, 3,300,000 power. Mortal blows techniques. SPD, bamboo leaves, panda drop, giant panda deathlock. Explanation for Panda Man. Abandoned in a bamboo thicket as an infant, Panda Man was raised by giant pandas. He is a demon superhero who resolved to become strong because when he told people he had seen Kaguya-hime, they didn't believe him and picked on him. Kaguya-hime was a princess who was found as a baby inside a bamboo stump. And that is it for the entry number 12 for the Jump Comics selection of Ultimate Muscle 77, Panda Man. Chapter 57, If You Have a Dream. Buggy's crew after the battle. Part 16, Duel to Decide the New Captain. And it shows Kabaji and Moji fighting against each other about who's going to lead the Buggy Pirates. But it cuts to Zeph and his crew.
A pirate ship! That ship, it's the pirate cooks. It's Red Shoes Zeph's ship. He's back from the Grand Line?
And it cuts to Zeph and his crew standing in front of the orbit and their crew. Captain Red Shoes Zeph, I presume. What do you want?
Take it all. Take everything of value!
And it shows...
Take everything of value!
And it shows Zeph's crew running down the crew of the orbit. And it cuts to them stealing pearls and jewelries and money from people, holding people at sword point. Then it cuts to another crew member going, "Captain, we better hurry, or we'll be caught in a storm." "I know." And then it cuts to Sanji, who's still in the kitchen.
Darn it, I'm not letting these guys kill me.
And then it cuts to a bag that's off to the side, and Zeph looks inside and goes, "Hey you, wait. What's this?"
Huh?
Forgive me, Captain Zeph, my stomach. And it looks like that one of his own crewmates tried to eat some food from the bag before they even left. And in response to this, Zeph kicks the man with so much force that he basically bodies him into a nearby section of the ship that also breaks the ship. And everyone looks on in shock as this man is just, left crumpled, and all the debris just falls around him after this massive kick. And then it cuts to Zeph holding this dude's head up as he goes, "We never touch other people's food. How many times I gotta tell ya?" So the bag that this dude tried to get was a bag of food that was on the ship. And Zeph was all like, "We don't touch other people's food. I will now break your sternum."
You stupid eggplant!
This brat's insane.
Boys, stop waving those knives around. Somebody could get hurt.
I'm bleeding. It's a nasty cut.
Go away. I'm not gonna let you sea snakes murder me.
Belay that, Sanji! Don't resist! Belay that, Sanji! Don't resist!
Yeah, kid, stop it! Don't provoke him!
Do something! He's one of your cooks, isn't he?
Stop it, Sanji!
If the kid wants to die so bad, go ahead and kill him.
And then Sanji goes,
"Who says I want to die? You plan to kill us all anyway, don't you? But I'll kill you first!"
And then it cuts to Zeph, who just nails Sanji right then and there, sending him flying. Yeah, sending him flying into the distance. "Sanji!
Get him, Captain! No mercy!"
Then it cuts to Sanji, who's right there, who's apparently still holding on to Zeph's leg.
"Someday I'm gonna find the All Blue!"
And then Zeph just looks at him. And then the rest of the cook pirates just start laughing at Sanji.
The little man's gonna find the All Blue. He's got big dreams. Captain, you gonna set him straight? Ain't no All Blue, not even on the Grand Line.
Then it cuts to the other chefs on the orbit going, "The little fool, is he still going on about that?" And then it cuts to Zeph kicking away Sanji once again.
"I'm not gonna be killed in a place like this by you crap pirates!"
Captain, we gotta go. The storm's getting worse by the minute. Okay, you swabs, load the treasure on our ship.
Then it cuts to a massive wave washing over the orbit, and Sanji starts to get swept up because he gets swept up in it. And yeah, he gets swept up in it and he gets knocked off the ship. And the cooks go, "Sanji!" And as Sanji is sent sailing over the ship, Zeph starts moving. "Hey, Captain!" He jumps, and Zeph jumps up and completely disconnects one of the sails from the ship and knocks it overboard. And he holds on to it as he holds on to it as the sail goes into the ocean with him.
Captain!
That crap kid.
Captain! Why? He's a worthless brat! Captain!
And then it shows the two ships, both the orbit and Zeph's ship, get swept up in this massive tsunami. And all you see is just Zeph's face as the water washes over him, and both ships just go under. I wonder if the people on that ship ever made it out. Because it's like the ships are gone. They're just under the ocean. And then it cuts to another location where Sanji is.
"You awake, eggplant head? You've got some powerful luck."
Pirates!
And Sanji tries to back away from Zeff, but he winds up hitting his head on the back of a rock behind him.
Don't bother trying to get up. Who do you think kicked you, boy?
The ship!
With that maelstrom, I suspect it was wrecked. My ship was smashed too, no doubt about it. It's clear from the wreckage. It's cold comfort that I haven't seen any corpses. The storm was 2 days ago. You and me, boy, got tossed up on this barren rock. No fruits, no animals. We can't even fish from here. The rock's been carved by the waves. Once you go down, you can't get back up. Like a mousetrap.
So they're basically stuck on this plateau that's out on the ocean right now.
There's no way for us to get food. Makes you want to cry, don't it?
Not me. It's all your fault. I'll bash your head in!
Quit yapping, I could split your throat and eat you. All we can do now is sit and wait. Help could come tomorrow if we get lucky, or we could end up as sun-bleached bones.
Bones? Me?
As Sanji thinks of himself already dead and gone as just a skeleton that birds have made him nest on top of.
Here's your cut. A little grub got washed up here with us. Good thing we're both cooks. If we eat normally, it'll...
Hold on, let me read the sentence out right. And I'm preparing to sneeze. Hold on. It's always on the edge. Come on, come on, come on. It's on the edge of my nose and it doesn't want to happen. I hate that!
A little grub got washed up here with us. If we eat normally, it'll last maybe 5 days. But if we're smart, we can stretch it a bit. Good thing we're both cooks.
Hey, you got more than me. 3 times as much.
Of course, I'm a grown man. I got a bigger stomach than you. That's our situation. We can't waste our strength fighting each other.
And he just puts his foot on Sanji's head, with him looking angry at him, calling him,
Crap, geezer.
Be grateful I'm sharing, and don't expect any extras. You keep watch over here. I'll be on the other side of that rock. I'll be on the other side of that rock watching for ships. Holler if you see a sail. Otherwise, keep quiet. Jabbering burns energy. I'll pray we have luck.
And then Sanji just stays by himself. And then it just cuts to Sanji, who's just watching the sunset, sitting next to his bag of food. And he's just thinking to it, and he wants to reach towards the bag. But he thinks back to what Zeff said.
If we eat normally, it'll last maybe 5 days. But if we're smart, we can stretch it a bit.
And Sanji just thinks to himself, and then he screams,
I don't want to die!
Then it cuts to Zeff's side as he's holding something up. And he goes,
So this is the end of Zeff's red shoe.
And it cuts to him holding up a boulder as he brings the boulder on his own leg. He brings this boulder, this sharp-ended boulder, down on his own leg. And he apparently broke the bone because there's a crack sound. Oh my goodness. See, I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that would feel like. To have your leg just severed. And least of all, you're having it severed from the top. Not from the back where there's meat, where there's fat. I mean right there at the front where you just have the shin and the bone and the little bit of meat you have at the front. And he voluntarily brings this boulder down on his leg. Ow! But that's the end of chapter 57. Onwards to chapter 58. But before that, another SBS. Question.
How fast can Kuro run 100 meters?
To be honest, it's difficult to measure his speed accurately, but it would be less than, say, 5 seconds. Think in the 4-second range. Wow, a world record! Wasn't in the anime his leg severed by a chain? They changed a lot of things in the anime because the One Piece manga is far more graphic than the anime is. The anime, even though you see like the uncut version of the anime, it's still censored compared to what they actually show in the manga. For example, Bleach is another example of this. There are moments where people get their entire sides gouged out, but for the sake of the anime and censorship, they nerf it to the point where it's like a very grievous wound, but it's not like a super major wound that happens like you see during the moment where Rangiku gets gored by Ion during the whole Fate Karakura Town arc. It's far more graphic in the manga than it is in the anime. So yeah, they do change things in comparison from the manga to the anime for the sake of censorship and to not make a series too graphic. So yeah, they will change things in the anime to make it suitable for television. Because imagine if they kept it in the anime where they show Zeph cutting off his own leg with a rock. Apparently. Think about that. And how much more graphic One Piece would be as a whole. He's also called Red Leg in anime, right? Red Leg. I think he's called Red Leg. Yes, I think he's called Red Leg. In the manga, he's called Red Shoes. But in the anime, he's called Red Leg. Because they also say that his legs would be turned red. His shoes and leg would be turned red from the blood of his enemies as well, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I've seen the One Piece anime from the beginning going onwards, but there's so many changes here. Let's continue on with the SBS, because we're about halfway through this. Question.
Do Betty and Karn's name come from spaghetti and calzone?
Answer. I remember when Luffy stabbed his eye, and in the anime, they didn't show it. I don't think they showed it. I think they tried to make it seem like he stabbed himself in the eye. But then it cuts away, and it just shows, and you just hear Luffy screaming. And then it shows him with a bandage under his eye. I don't think they showed him stabbing himself in the eye, because imagine back then, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to show children actually stabbing themselves in the eye on TV and children seeing that, and then they being inspired to get a scar just like Luffy, and you find kids all over Japan stabbing themselves in the eye because of that. So I feel like they probably censored that as well. I'm going to have to look, once I get done, I'm going to have to look up the different types of censorship between the manga and the normal sub-anime and the differences between them. Not just the 4Kids version, but also the anime and manga differences as well. But continuing on, answers to the Patty and Karn's name comes from spaghetti and calzone. Oda goes, they come from cooking-related words to be sure, but not those. Patty comes from patissier, a pastry chef in charge of desserts. Karn comes directly from the Spanish word for meat dishes, or carne. Wow, I've been calling him Karn this whole time. His name is Carne, like chili con carne. Okay, I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Carne. Question.
If Luffy is 7,200 funky gum-gums, then Sanji's about 8,500 funky Edo-Edo?
A. And answer. No, not quite. More like 930 Marchen Edo-Edo. Question.
Can the One Piece graphic novel be a little cheaper? About 100 yen.
And then Oda. Right now it's 410 yen per volume, right? And Jump is 220 yen. When I was in elementary school, graphic novels cost 360 yen per volume, and Jump cost 170 yen. But the price of all goods has risen, so it can't be helped. Everyone is in the same boat. 100 yen just is impossible. Do times change when things that you could see as penniless back then was like high priced? Penniless now was high priced back then. Times truly have changed ever since this question popped up. Stuff is more expensive now. Question. Oh wait, yeah, question.
Sensei, when are you drawing One Piece characters, and when you are drawing One Piece characters and Luffy is mad, does your face look mad or tense too? Tell me, mine does.
Answer. It does, yes. I make lots of faces when I draw. When I drew the double-page spread of the breakup of Usopp's pirate crew, my face got very tired. I was making a crying face the whole time I drew it, and my face started to cramp. And thus ends another SBS. Onwards to Chapter 58, The Crap Geezer. Buggy's crew, after the battle. Part 17, intense 12-hour battle, as it shows all of Buggy's pirates sleeping as Kabaji and Moji are still fighting each other. They're massively swollen, but they're massively swollen all over their face, and they got bloodied fingers, but they're still fighting each other even now for the title of captain. And then we cut back to the lone island, well, the lone stone plateau that Sanji and Zeph are on.
That's our situation. We can't waste our strength fighting each other.
And these are the words echoing in Sanji's head over and over.
Crap geezer. If I do see a ship, I'm not gonna tell him. He can die. I'll survive on my own. I could see a long way out on the ocean. If I watch for 4 or 5 days, I'm bound to see a ship. And there's no sign that orbit sank, so it could still come and rescue me.
And then he starts to open the bag of food.
Thinking it over? Well, I do have a whole 5 days worth of food. But this is a matter of life and death, so I'll divide it into 20 portions just to be safe. That means less than 1 meal a day, but the depressions in the rock are full of rainwater, so I'll make it. If I stay alive for 20 days, a ship's gotta come. I'm sure to be rescued. No sweat.
And then it cuts to Sanji as he starts eating some food. He starts eating some food, thinking to himself, and then he starts to drink some water. And then he looks over at the bag of food, realizing like he's suffering the Pringles situation. Bet you can't eat just one, because he done already came up with a plan to divide this food up, and now he's just basically tempting himself if he wants to eat the food or not.
Maybe I'll eat just a little more?
Yeah, and then he puts his head face first into the water.
No! I divided the food into 20 daily portions, and this is only the first day!
And then it shows Sanji's stomach growling.
Stop rumbling! Darn it, stop!
And his stomach still keeps growling over and over and over again. And he's just sitting there as the days go by. And there's just silence.
No ships today. I just gotta hang on 2 or 3 more days.
Day 5. And it's raining.
This rain's gonna make it hard to see a ship.
And then he perks up.
Huh? A ship! Hey! Help! Fire! Gotta light a fire to signal them. Darn, the wood's too wet to burn. Wait! Don't go! I'm here! Please! Wait! Don't go! Help me!
And he's saying this, but he's in the middle of a storm. And he's screaming out.
Hey!
And he's saying all of this, but it's a massive storm that's happening. Thunder's crashing, lightning's flashing. None of his words is getting to the ship as the ship itself starts to sail away from him, never noticing him.
Darn it!
Day 25.
My last piece of bread. Mostly moldy. Mostly mold.
And then it cuts to Sanji as he's starting to look more and more emancipated. And he tries to take the bag of food that he ate through and see if there's any food left. Then he starts to eat on the moldy bread just a little bit. Oh, what a taste! They left so much food! And then it cuts back to Sanji going,
Cut that out! You're eating off dirty plates like dogs! I just threw out some food that looked bad!
How about it? You want some?
No thanks.
And then it cuts to Sanji, who's thinking back to like when his full section of eye stabbing was cut in anime. It was shown in episode 878 for the first time. Yeah, back then a lot of stuff was censored, but when the time went on for anime as a whole, a lot more things they were a lot more lenient with what you could show in an anime up until like we get incredibly graphic things like Hellsing and Berserk and all sorts of different animes that are out right now. The censorship changed since the first incident of One Piece where Luffy stabs himself in the eye. Because, like you said, later on, they allow that stuff to be shown because censorship kind of lessened to a degree to allow that stuff. So, like I said, times be changing. What we couldn't get in the past, we can get now. So it's interesting. But Sanji's thinking about how he was once scoffing at his chef friends while they were eating food that people left behind, and he was thinking to himself, maybe they had a point or something to that notion. But he's just eating this bread and going,
Huh? No! No! Oh, no!
As he tries to hold on to the bread, and then the bread falls out of his hand and into the ocean below. And since there's no way for him to get back up onto this plateau if he falls off, it's just gone forever.
My last piece of bread. I'm starving.
And then it cuts to Sanji, who's putting his hand out, and he's looking at his hand, and his hand just doesn't look the same anymore. Like his whole body is suffering from mild starvation. Day 30.
It'll come soon.
Day 50. And Sanji's sitting in a deluge. Day 70. And it cuts to Sanji, who's still drinking water. 70 days. 70 days. Like, this is something. Think about it. You're a child. You're 9 years old. And you're out stuck at sea for almost, I want to say, 2 months. 2 months and 10 days. That's how long you've been at sea. And you're well past the point of being able to make food last at all. And you're just there by yourself. Just imagine. But we're down to day 70 and Sanji's struggling to sit up. And then Sanji thinks,
Crap geezer. Probably dead.
I'm a grown man. I got a bigger stomach than you.
And Sanji struggles as he climbs up. Sanji struggles to climb up to where he sees Zeph sitting on his side of the plateau and goes,
He's still alive. And look at all the food he's got. So much food.
As he takes a chef's knife that he had with him.
This is all that crap geezer's fault anyway. I'll get that food if I have to kill him. I want to live.
And then it cuts to Zeph going,
What do you want, Eggplant Head? You see a ship?
And then Sanji's just standing there, emancipated, starving, holding a knife up to Zeph. Starvation can drive a person to do crazy things. Desperation can make people do crazy things.
I came for your food. Kill me if you think you can. I'm dead anyway if I don't eat soon.
And then Zeph doesn't move as Sanji stabs into the bag.
All this just for you.
And then Sanji looks
What?
as what's inside of the bag starts clanging out of the bag. And it turns out that the bag that Zeph has had with them this entire time was not a bag full of food. It was just nothing but treasure in it.
Until you see a ship, I said no contact.
Why? It's all treasure.
A fortune in gold and nothing to eat. Funny, huh?
Huh? The whole bag? It's all treasure. What about the food? How have you survived? You said you needed more food.
And Zeph himself is like incredibly emancipated as well. All his muscle is just straight up gone.
What about the food? How have you survived? You said you needed more food.
And he looks on in shock as he sees that Zeph's leg, his right leg, is gone.
What happened to your foot? Your own foot? You ate it?
That's right.
The food! You gave it all to me!
And this is when Sanji realizes is that Zeph gave Sanji all the food that they had. And Zeph cut off his own leg and ate that. And Sanji's just thinking about how he was rationing out the food just for himself.
Thinking it over, well, I do have a whole 5 days worth of food. You gave it all to me?
Yes.
But without your food, you can't be a pirate anymore.
Reckon not.
But why'd you do that for me? I was gonna kill you. I never gave you a reason to be kind to me. So why? Why?
Because you had the same dream as me.
What? All blue? But your men said there's no such thing.
It exists. When the time comes, head for the Grand Line. We couldn't find it in a year's voyage, but what I saw there made me believe in the All Blue. But now I've lost the crew I would have sailed there with. I don't feel like being a pirate without them. They didn't believe in the All Blue, but they were good-hearted fools. They were a good bunch. Then it cuts to Zeph, who falls backwards. Yo, Psycho, good to see you.
Huh? Hey, geezer, don't die! You can't die, not after what you did!
The ocean is vast and brutal. The vastness of this ocean, people die cursing it. How many people has it swallowed? In all my years as a pirate, I've been in a lot of tough spots where there was nothing to eat. And every time I thought, if only there was a restaurant smack in the middle of the ocean.
Restaurant?
That's right. If I get off this rock alive, I'm gonna build it if it's the last thing I do. In this age of pirates, I may be the only man who could run a grub shop like that.
Okay, I'll help you. Just don't die!
Huh. It'll be too hard for a puny eggplant head.
I'll become strong!
Day 85. Oh, hey, on that rock! People! 2 of them just lying there! They're still breathing! About 3 months ago, I heard someone shouting around here one stormy day. 3 months. That is how long Sanji and Zeph were on that rock.
What? Is that true?
Then it cuts back to the present. You ate your own foot, leaving all the food for me. You saved my life. Sanji! As it cuts back to Gin, who's still holding his gun towards Owner Zeph's head. My surprise! How did he survive the direct hit? Goes Pearl.
Whoa! He's on his feet!
I won't let you have this restaurant, and I won't let you kill the crab geezer either. That fool sacrificed himself to save a worthless boy. As Sanji gets up and wipes the blood from his mouth. So I'll defend him with my life, and pay my debt to the crab geezer. And that is the end of chapter 58. Onwards to chapter 59, Sanji's debt. But before that, another SBS. Question.
Zeph of the ocean-going restaurant has braids under his nose. Is that a mustache? Nose hair? Fake hair?
And Oda says, they're phony tails. The scientific name is Phonus ballonis tails. Question.
Oda-sensei, Amaki Nori. I thought of an amazing move. Luffy stretches his arm. 2. Zoro cuts that arm off. 3. The arm goes flying. Note, this technique can only be used twice.
And then Oda just goes, hey. Question.
Dear Odakins, I'm your fiancé. When are we gonna get married? How about the 1st of November? We're going to kiss at the wedding, right? Ooh, how exciting. Smack, actually, I'm Nami Amaro's younger sister.
And then Oda says, okay, I'll visit you in the hospital. Question.
This is to the guy who said that Zoro's sash made him look like an old man in the question corner in Volume 4. It's your problem, man. At first, I also thought a cool guy like Zoro in a sash. But if that part of Zoro, I accept it. Yes, I accept it. So you should too. Okay, let's be friends.
And then Oda, wow, friendship blossoming between my readers. How heartwarming. Question.
Buggy's top half can fly, right? Or float anyway. Then it should be able to fly to the Grand Line. So why doesn't he?
He can't go that far. The powers of the Chop Chop fruit have a limit. His body parts can only scatter up to a diameter of 200 Chop Chops. Once this limit is exceeded, control is no longer possible. Chapter 59, Sanji's Debt. Buggy's crew after the battle. Part 18, Rampage, Sleepwalking Richie. And Richie is the lion, and he's dreaming about fighting some sort of sea dragon, and in the process, he winds up bodying both of Kabachi and Moji at the same time. And he's still sleepwalking. But we cut back to the present day. Sanji flashback over.
Repaying a debt? Sanji, I don't want any favors. I'm not so pathetic that I need a baby eggplant to protect me.
Who did whom the favor? If you hadn't eaten your own foot for my sake, you'd never have lost to those fools.
Sanji looks shaky.
Chef ate his foot so Sanji would starve? Sanji wouldn't starve?
So that's why he's so protective of this grub joint.
He was paying Chef Buck. And Carne, who'd have thunk that those two who fight like cats and dogs had such a bond? Then Luffy doesn't say anything, and Gin is still there going, Why? Why did you get up, Sanji? And then it cuts back to Pearl. So you want some more of Pearl's surprises? You can't possibly win, you know. In this world, it's winner take all. Losers get nothing. And whatever the prize, You know what? This is how I'm going to read out Pearl's voice because I feel like it fits him. In this world, it's winner take all. Losers get nothing. And whatever the prize, the winner crushes the competition. Am I wrong, Don Krieg? No, that's true. Right, Gin? And Gin doesn't say anything. I don't even need to ask. You're the clear leader in ruthlessness. We're gonna crush you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I feel like I'm talking like the Yeti from Looney Tunes, and a little bit like Ed from Ed, Edd, and Eddy to a certain degree. You're the clear leader in ruthlessness. We're gonna crush you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So why are you standing up? You're just wasting your strength. And then it cuts to Sanji, who smiles at Pearl, going, for one moment longer, this place can remain a restaurant. Does that guy want to die? That crap punk. And Gin is looking frustrated at the fact that Sanji will not give up. Ha! Your words are slicker and polished silver, but it's closing time for this dive. From now on, this is a pirate ship. Double check. Pearl surprise! And then Pearl hits Sanji directly in the face, once again, sending him flying. And Luffy, not intervening, can only watch on as the rest of the fighting cooks go,
Sanji! Ah, hot! Yikes! His fire's getting big again!
This time it'll reach the restaurant for sure!
Pearl! Put out your fire! What good's a burnt ship? It's too hot!
And then it cuts to Pearl laughing. Ha 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 ha! You can do nothing about this if you don't mind the old man dying, that is. Yeah, this probably should have been the voice if Ed from Ed, Edd, and Eddy was a dastardly villain. I probably should have went with this voice, but it didn't dawn on me. It didn't dawn on me at all. You can do nothing about this if you don't mind the old man dying, that is. And then it just shows Sanji wiping blood from his face again, Gin still pointing his gun at Zeph, and then Luffy gritting his teeth, and then just screaming, sends his foot flying in the air. He just stretches his foot high into the air, with Sanji going, Stop it, fool! Don't interfere! Then it cuts to the Krieg pirates.
What's he thinking?
That kid! And Gin looks up as he goes,
Is he nuts?
Come!
Battle axe!
And it shows Luffy basically destroying the entire platform. You know, the extra outer platform that the Baratie has. His Gum battle axe comes crashing down, sending Krieg pirates flying and a massive explosion of force from where this platform was. And people are sent flying into the air, and Luffy's just right there, and it shows more and more pieces just in the air. Oh yeah, Kyushu, I'm loving that voice. It's hilarious. Yeah, I like it too. I'm gonna vary up my voices just a little bit more because there's a ton more characters to be introduced.
The fin! He shattered it! That kid's up to something. Geen, blow a hole in Zev's head!
And then Geen is kind of hesitating, going, "But hey, I never touched you guys. All I did was bust the fin. Chore boy, what were you thinking? I'm gonna sink this ship." What?
What? What did he just say? Sink the ship? That's not funny!
Goes the cooks.
That ship is ours! Don't joke about that!
Then it cuts back to Krieg. "Geen, quit stalling and kill Zeph!" "Are you crazy, you crap kid? Don't you realize why I've slaved away all this time on this ship? But if I sink it, they've got no prize." And then it cuts to Geen, who's still holding his gun to Zeph. And Zeph is kind of smiling to himself. "My enormous debt and the way I feel about this ship, you could never understand. So you're gonna die for this ship? That's stupid." "What? Getting killed is no way to repay your debt. He didn't save your life so you could throw it away." And Luffy thinks back to when Shanks saved him and gave up his arm. I never noticed. 2 individuals who are on the Straw Hat crew had a person save their life and wound up giving up a portion of themselves so that they could survive. Shanks more so had a more direct line with that versus Zeph, who... Well, actually, yeah, you might as well say that they did do that because Zeph gave Sanji all of his food and cut off his own leg just so he could survive, but he gave everything else to Sanji so that he could live on. Shanks gave up his left arm in order to save Luffy at the beginning of the series. So that's 2 individuals who are massive influences on characters' lives that gave up a limb in order to make sure that the other person could survive. I never noticed that until just now. Interesting. I'm glad I'm going through this so I can learn all this. But he thinks back to when Shanks gave up his arm for him. "He didn't save your life so you could throw it away. Only a coward would do that. How else can I stop them from taking Zeph's ship?" And then it cuts back to Pearl. "Now stop squabbling, you two. It was your misfortune to meet up with Don Creek's pirates. There's nothing you can do now. Not when we've got our hostage." And it shows Zeph, and then it shows Pearl running up to Luffy and Sanji. "Now burn and die with this fireball!" As Pearl starts running up towards Luffy and Sanji with his Pearl shields on fire. But then we cut to owner Zeph, who no longer has Geen behind him because the gun falls to his side. And then it cuts to Pearl as he goes, "Whoa!" And in an instant, Geen comes in and shatters the shield of Pearl instantly with a pair of blunt-ended tonfas. He just shatters Pearl's shield in one go. "Geen!" goes Luffy. "Sorry, Pearl. Step aside." Why? Geen!
Geen! Why'd you hit Pearl?
"Geen, you swine! How dare you betray me!" "I'm sorry, Don Krieg, but after all, we both owe Sanji our lives. I'll send him to the grave with my own hands." "Huh?" goes Sanji. "That guy shattered Invincible Pearl's cannonball-proof shield. So he's not just a flunky." "Phew, seems it all worked out." "Don't lie, you really were going to sink the ship," goes Sanji to Luffy. "Have you lost your mind, Geen? Battle commander of the pirate armada?" And that's the end of chapter 59. We got an SBS, not OBS, but SBS, and then we can move on to chapter 60. Question.
Did you know that Kobe's father is the world champion of jumping rope?
Answer. Really? I didn't know that. Kobe's dad is very impressive. Question.
Is it true that Quahador has a pet mammoth?
Answer. Really? I didn't know that either. Was there one at the mansion? Question.
What are your selection criteria for Usopp's pirate gallery?
Answer. Naturally, I consider skill, how interesting it is, style, but the most important thing is the spirit you convey in the postcard. Yeah. Question.
The other day, while I was working at the fruit stand, the smart-aleck kid said, "You don't have gum fruit? What a dark! If a kid like that comes again, what should I say? Please tell me. I'm serious."
Answer. In a case like that, each character would probably respond as follows. Makino. You're right. I'm sorry, we don't stock it. Be an adult and let it pass. Shanks. You're 10 years too young for a devil fruit. Taunt him. Or respond like Luffy. I'll send you flying right now. No mercy. Try whichever approach you like, but don't hold me responsible. And final question.
Please don't character popularity, Paul.
And then answer. Well, I won't be doing it in the comic book, but I did it in Weekly Shonen Jump and the results are in, so I'll present them on page 148. I think this poll was taken 2 or 3 weeks after chapter 49, Storm came out. After chapter 49, Storm came out. It's not called Storm came out, but chapter's called Storm. You understand. Chapter 60, Resolution. Buggy's crew after the battle, part 19. Complete! Richie's pirate crew. Because apparently Richie is now the leader of the Buggy Pirates, which has now been turned into the Richie Pirates. It's interesting how they're going to take orders from him if they can't understand him. Just a question. But it cuts back to Gin, who's speaking to Sanji. Sanji, I hoped you'd get off this ship without getting hurt, but I guess that's not going to happen. No, I'm afraid not. Then the best I can offer you is to kill you myself. Thank you. Eat worms. Thank you. Eat worms, as Sanji lights another cigarette in his mouth. You too, Straw Hat. You should have left with your mates. Huh? How come? I can't lose to a bunch of wimps like you. And then everyone gets mad and upset, and Gin is all like, oh? But the rest of the Krieg pirates are going,
Those blokes are getting sassy mouth with our battle commander. First it's eats worms, now it's eat worms, now it's wimps. We're Krieg's pirates, the toughest marauders in the Yeast Blow.
You're not tough. There's just so many of you. And then all the other pirates are just like, they realize that Luffy's right. They don't have strength, just strength in numbers. Like stormtroopers or battle droids. They're not necessarily the most dangerous of elements, but their numbers is what makes them dangerous. Because the only real threats that are here are apparently Gin, Pearl, and Don Krieg. And Pearl's shield has been shattered, so who knows how long he's gonna last. You're not tough. There's just so many of you. And all the rest of the Krieg pirates just kind of fly into the air comedically after realizing that Luffy's basically hit the nail on the head. They need CPR right now. You hit him where it hurts. 'Cause it's true.
Stupid chore boy, did you have to make them matter? It's Don Krieg's crew, kid. Their strength's no joke.
Idiot! And then it cuts to Zeph, who's laughing.
We're gonna massacre these cooks now! We'll kill them to death!
That's an oxymoron. How can you kill something to death? If you kill something, it's already dead. So how can you kill something already dead to death? Just asking.
We'll kill them to death!
Stand down.
But Don Krieg, these guys...
Getting all worked up over being called wimps only shows that you acknowledge your weakness. The outcome will tell us who's strong and who's weak. Don Krieg's here, so you can quit screaming.
Aye aye! Don Krieg!
Then it cuts to Patty. What authority? Yeah, he's not the boss of a 50-ship fleet for nothing. Did they forget that Mihawk apparently destroyed all 50 of those ships? They can't call him the boss of 50 ships if he ain't got none. I'm just saying. If you don't have 50 ships, you can no longer include that on your resume. You can't have that on the dossier. If your ships is gone, you can't have that. I'm just saying. Mihawk already... when you think about it, Mihawk destroyed all of his ships, including his flagship. He sliced his ship in 3 pieces. He ain't got nothing no more. He's just... If I stay on this, I'm going to be on there in a minute. Let's continue on, because it's like they really haven't pieced that together yet. What authority? He's not the boss of a 50-ship fleet for nothing. Boy, of the two of us, who do you think is king of the pirates material? And Luffy just goes, me. You just can't help yourself. What? And then Krieg gets mad and upset. Krieg gets mad and upset that Luffy is just like nonchalantly giving him these very straight and honest answers. And he goes, you dogs stay out of this. He's not going to. I'll show that dreamer of a kid what strength really is. And it shows Don Krieg standing up with like a big old shield with his Jolly Roger on it.
What? It's the MH5!
Please, Don Krieg, not that! Goes. Ooh, that was a heavy one. Goes Geen. What is it? MH5? If it's a cannonball, I'll just bounce it right back. Panda Man again? Where? Where's Panda Man? Oh, he's behind the Krieg pirates. Panda Man is everywhere. MH5? If it's a cannonball, I'll bounce it right back. Please, Don Krieg, let me kill the kid. It doesn't matter whose hand kills him. You know that above all, I detest sentimental tripe like honor and mercy. This is war. All that matters is victory. Winning is everything, even if it means using the poison gas cannonball. Poison gas? Don Krieg! One whiff of this noxious poison and you'll turn to mush. This is true strength! And then Don Krieg shoots his shield, which opens up. It's basically a shield cannon. I think Elden Ring has a shield like this. I forget what it's called. It's like some sort of eye shield that also doubles as a cannon. I never used it, but it just reminds me of that. I wonder if this is where Miyazaki got the idea. Is Miyazaki a One Piece fan? Potentially? Potentially? But everyone looks on in surprise as Zeph looks on, and then it shows the Krieg pirates putting on gas masks, and then the chefs diving underwater going, danger! Deep dive! It's coming! No big deal. I'll just knock it into the water. Stop, you fool. Stop, you fool, goes Sanji as Luffy goes running straight towards the cannonball itself. Poison gas? So what? As the shell gets closer to Luffy and Geen goes, wrong. And it shows that inside this cannonball were a ton of sharp shurikens. And Sanji manages to dodge out of the way, but Luffy is point blank and he gets cut across his skin with multiple shurikens hitting him all across his body. What the? Shuriken? Ugh, that hurt!
A shuriken bomb? It was a trick!
Hey, that wasn't poison gas! Hey, that wasn't poison gas! You're a little slow, goes Sanji. You don't use something as valuable as the poison gas cannonball for this. I could annihilate an entire village with one of those. You think I'd waste it just to rub out 2 pieces of trash? I see. That's 1 point for you, goes Luffy. And then one of the chefs goes, why is he talking so calmly? This is war, Sonny. I have many ways of killing you. Now I ask you again, which of us is king of the pirates material? Me. You don't have what it takes. Don Krieg doesn't get it. Don Krieg doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. Now I ask you again, which of us is king of the pirates material? Me. You don't have what it takes. Doo-doom. And then Krieg gets angrier and angrier. And then Krieg gets angrier and angrier and screams, Geen! Do your duty and send that cook to hell. As for this callow whelp, I'll kill him myself. Don Krieg is really mad. Understood, Don Krieg. And Sanji doesn't say anything as he prepares to face off against, to face off against Gin. Sorry, Sanji, but you can't beat me. We'll see about that, you small fry scoundrel. Then it cuts back to Krieg and Luffy. Now, boy, I'll show you the armed might that rules the East Blue, and you'll see how insignificant your little power is. Try it. I'll send you flying. I'm coming across, so say your prayers. Why don't you fly over again? Then it cuts to Gin, who starts fighting with Sanji. Here I come. Go get him, Gin! And it cuts to Gin as he's rushing I was about to call him Zanji. I'm thinking of zombie games right now. I'm sorry. But it cuts to Gin as he drags his tonfa through the ground and tries to rip it up in order to hit Sanji in the process. And Sanji tries to hit Gin, but Gin dodges his kick and goes, "They call me the Demon Man. I can't show you any mercy now. Farewell." As it shows Gin, who apparently has Sanji dead to rights with his tonfa over his neck. And that is the end of Chapter 60. Now we have the results of the very first One Piece character popularity poll with a total number of 36,000 submissions. At number 10, it's Kuina. 9, Captain Kuro. 8, Usopp. 7, Buggy the Clown. 6, Ben Beckman. 5, Nami. 4, Sanji. 3, Red-Haired Shanks. 2, Roronoa Zoro. And 1, well, it's Luffy. And then, of course, we have 33rd place all the way to... We have 11th place all the way to 33rd place, where we get Gin, Makino, Gold Roger, Mihawk, Gaiman, Krieg, Kaya, Kobe, Django, Meowman Brothers, Mary, Zeph, Moji, Johnny, Kabaji, Yasop, Patty, Yosaku, Pepper, Mayor Boodle, Master of the Near Sea, Panda, Rabbit Snake, Pig Lion, Ganzak, Rika, and Captain of the Naval Base. The fact that the creatures landed in this popularity poll, the Rabbit Snake and the Pig Lion, they're in the top 40 for the very first popularity poll of One Piece. Really interesting. Chapter 61, The Demon, as it shows Gin, the Meowman brothers over Zeph. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy how the Meowman brothers are over Zeph. But you got Master Boodle just underneath Pepper. Pepper. He's one of Usopp Pirate Kids. He's under... Okay, interesting. Chapter 61, The Demon. I'll smash you to a pulp.
Ha ha! The commander is finally his old self again! Pulverize his skull, Gin!
And then it looks like... And Sanji's just sitting there, blowing smoke out of his nose as he's still smoking, as his chefs go, Sanji! Then, as Gin is preparing to bring his tonfa down on Sanji's face, in a split second, he manages to spit his cigarette in Gin's face, burning him slightly, allowing Sanji to slip out from under the bar he was under, just in the nick of time to avoid getting his face smashed in. And Gin notices him getting up, and proceeds to kick Gin directly in the face from a handstand. Gin then retaliates and hits Sanji directly in his side. Now, mind you, these are big metallic balls on the end of these tonfas. So imagine you're outstretched, your arm is up, and you're airborne a little bit, and you get hit directly near your ribs on your side, like where your lungs are supposed to be. The wounds people suffer in this game is crazy. But it cuts to Sanji as both he and Gin fall over, with Sanji spitting out a little bit of blood.
Hey, that cook gotta kick in on Gin.
Gin's not gonna get whipped, too.
Is he?
Fools! How can you doubt Gin's fighting ability? Think of what you've seen him do.
Don Krieg!
Geen is my own cool-headed, trusted demon man. That's why he's my battle commander. He'll show his true colors soon.
Aye, that's Geen. He'll torture a man to death, heedless of his screams. The demon man hasn't an ounce of mercy.
And then Sanji gets up as he's holding his side. And then Patty, is Sanji okay?
Does he look okay? Including his injuries from that shield guy. He must have 5 or 6 busted ribs.
Like, I just said that. I just said, like, imagine his ribs.
If you're the battle commander of this defunct armada, maybe Krieg's pirates aren't so formidable after all.
And this, of course, gets Geen upset as he kind of licks the blood from his own lip as he stares at Sanji. Then it cuts to Luffy as he goes, "Hey, he's not looking this way. Now's my chance to send him flying," as he tries to rush across a big flag post that's stretching across the, over to where Don Krieg is, and Luffy tries to rush him.
Don't get your hopes up.
And he holds up his shield, which is already open from the shuriken bomb that he shot, and the outer edges of the shield open up even further. And then Don Krieg flicks something in the water that Luffy's running towards, and the whole area explodes.
You're dead meat now!
As he opens fire on, Luffy with like a Gatling gun of some kind that's shooting out multiple spikes at him. Stakes! And then as Luffy is running away, he holds his hat in front of him so that it doesn't get damaged or knocked off. And one of the stakes gets him in the leg, and as he starts to slip off, he kicks off on the post to keep from falling in the ocean, and he lands back on the other side right where he started.
Close call, anchor boy.
Ow! Darn it!
As he's pulling these stakes out. You lousy jerk! You want to fight?
Do I want to fight? I don't require desire. Battle demands only the tools and methods of death. That's armed might, my boy. All you can do is charge like a monkey.
Nyah! This monkey's gonna give you a nasty scratching, goes Luffy. And then it cuts to someone screaming out, "Go on, finish him, Geen!"
Look.
And it shows Sanji just doubled over in extreme pain as Geen stands over him, and both of his tonfas are bloodied? I want to say they're both bloodied.
Ha ha ha! His bones are in shards now! Kill him!
If only Sanji hadn't taken that beating from the shield man. He's been hit at least 10 times with those iron clubs.
Those skewered dumplings you're swinging aren't much good, are they? You small fry scoundrel. I'm in trouble. This guy's tough,
Sanji thinks to himself immediately.
I'll finish you now. Don't squirm!
And then it cuts to Sanji, who's just standing there, and then Geen tries to take a swipe at Sanji, but Sanji dodges.
Die, Sanji!
Sanji dodges out of the way and goes,
What is this? What is this? You missed on purpose?
And Geen doesn't say anything.
Quit playing around!
As Sanji brings his foot down directly onto Geen's face, slamming him into the ground.
What? Geen!
And then Sanji starts to double over in pain because, I mean, he did suffer some serious injuries on the inside, so I guess him doing this is enough to even harm him. Just the recoil of having broken bones in him.
What?
Hey, Sanji!
He's a goner. He can't even take the shock of his own attacks.
And then it gets to Geen, who gets up going,
Die.
And then it cuts to the more of the Krieg pirates as they go,
That guy's nothing!
And Don Krieg just going,
Huh.
And then it shows Geen holding his tonfa over Sanji and holding him by the face.
Lousy cook!
And it cuts to the other chefs as they watch on, but then it cuts to Geen's face as it shows him crying. I can't do it, Don Krieg!
What?
And Sanji looks surprised. Luffy just goes, Geen, I can't kill this man!
What did you say?
And he remembers back to when Sanji fed him. He feels indebted to Sanji. Remember, this dude was already skeptical from the beginning when he was trying to convince Don Krieg and a crew not to even assail the Baratie. He's always been against it. And now this emotion that he's had this entire time just comes swelling up. He had to put on a facade a little bit, but even that had its own limit. 'Cause
Say that again if you dare.
that was the first time in my life that anybody was ever so kind to me. I can't kill this man. And then Don Krieg loads his gun.
Imbecile.
No, Don Krieg, you wouldn't! And that's the end of chapter 61. Onwards to what I believe is the last chapter. Yes, the last chapter of this volume. Ooh, I'm making good time. An hour 40 to do all this? I'd say that's pretty good. Chapter 62, MH5. Adventures of Richie's Pirate Crew. Part 1. The indigenous Kumite tribe. Interesting.
You can't bring yourself to kill him? You disappoint me, Geen. I thought that you of all my men would faithfully execute the principles of Krieg's pirates. I named you battle commander of my armada because of your strength and ruthlessness in the pursuit of victory. I believe that you were unsurpassed in these things.
I'm sorry. I would never betray you, and I don't regret anything I've done in your service. I respect your strength, and I thank you. But this is one person I cannot kill. And then Luffy's just standing there watching this as his leg is still bleeding. His leg is still bleeding from the stake that was in him. Don Krieg, is there any way at all, that this ship could possibly be spared? And it shows Geen, snot running out of his nose and eyes just drenched in tears, and this absolutely livid face on Don Krieg's face as he grits his teeth. Rah! And then it cuts to more of the pirates going,
Has Geen lost his mind? Commander, you stink!
What's gotten into you, Geen? Then there's just silence from the chef's side. We got a loud line here. I got some water with me. I'm going to need to drink that for this line. Hold on. I got to prepare for this. I got to prepare for this line. It's a loud one. It's a loud one. All right.
It's inexcusable that you, my most trusted officer, should refuse to obey my order. What madness has possessed you?
As he takes aim at Geen.
Ah, the MH5! Put your masks on! This time it's for real!
A poison gas bomb? Why, you rotten, goes Luffy. Don Krieg, these cooks saved all of our lives!
Drop your gas mask, Geen. You are no longer part of this crew.
If he's no longer part of this crew, he has no reason to drop the gas mask. Don Krieg, how did you survive this long? With stupid stuff like that. If I'm no longer part of your crew, why do I have to listen to you? What? But Don Krieg.
The Don's gonna kill Geen. You addled! He wouldn't go that... You're addled. He wouldn't go that far. Geen's Don Krieg's right hand.
Aye, nobody ever served him as loyally as Geen.
Remember that time? We just escaped from the Grand Line. Iron Fist's full-body squadron was chasing us, and Commander Geen disguised himself as the Don and acted as a decoy. He's put his life on the line many times for Don Krieg. Aye, he always executed the Don's orders with demonic ferocity. How could the Don kill a man like that?
Drop that mask,
goes Krieg. And Geen is just holding it. You think I'd let you shoot that? as Luffy goes running towards Krieg, who then continues to try and shoot stakes at him.
Out of the way!
You won't hit me again! And then Luffy dodges the stakes and starts scurrying underneath the post so it can't hit him. And Gin is still holding the mask.
Anchor boy, I'd have killed you even if you hadn't interfered.
And it shows Krieg destroying the post that Luffy was apparently crawling under. The big old broken piece of ship that Luffy was crawling under, Don Krieg smashes it completely, causing Luffy to slowly sink into the ocean. Ah, it's going under! And then Krieg continues to shoot at Luffy as he topples right back to where he started once again. He really can't get close to Don Krieg right now, can he? Gin, don't obey that pansy Krieg. I'm gonna clobber him. Chore boy. Hey, brat, don't belittle Don Krieg. Don Krieg is the mightiest man alive. A runt like you could never defeat him. Wake up, Gin. Your hero's trying to kill you. Of course, I'm a coward who let foolish sentiment get in the way of duty. I deserve to die, as Gin just tosses away his mask. Okay.
Why?
Gin!
Deathly poison gas bomb! MH5!
And then he shoots this gas bomb towards the Baratie and everyone there.
Here it comes! Here it comes! Ah! Dive deep!
And then Don Krieg puts on his own mask. And then Luffy dives towards some members of Don Krieg's crew, and he grabs the masks off their faces, and he goes, I'm borrowing these. No! Their faces with the voice I just used, I'm sorry, it tickled me, I'm sorry. I'm borrowing these. No!
Ugh, I'm too weak to move.
Here, you guys! And he throws the mask towards Sanji and Gin. Huh? They all went under. I need a mask too. Then it cuts to the bomb. It cuts to the bomb flying over Luffy's head, and he realizes that the bomb is coming down. Huh? Chef, head aft! And both Carne and Patty head inside of the restaurants with owner Zeph.
What am I gonna do?
Huh? And then Luffy notices that there's a mask right next to him. And then it shows the bomb as it gets closer to the Baratie, as Krieg ends the scene going,
This is military might.
And the whole bomb goes up, and the entire area, including the main fighting area, gets engulfed in this poison smoke. And then, as the smoke clears, Luffy has the mask on his face. I'm alive! Good thing this mask happened to be lying around. And Krieg is watching as many of the chefs have swam out of range of the MH5 smoke. Pirates using poison gas? What's the world coming to?
These guys are monsters.
It's been 5 minutes now. Are Sanji and Chorboy okay? Look, the poison gas is clearing. And then it cuts to someone in the smoke still on the deck of the Baratie. You got Luffy off to the side with the mask still on. And then you got Sanji with the mask on, but someone is forcing the mask to be on his face. Gin, get off me! And it shows that Gin didn't have his mask on the entire time. It was Gin who tossed his mask over. Gin! Hey, where's your gas mask? And Gin is trembling and shaking all over, and he's bleeding from his face profusely. The mask? You threw your gas mask to me? And then Gin just starts coughing up blood as the poison starts to take effect. Gin!
What a fool. The sin of gratitude brought him to this state, and all for a little food. Well, they say death is the only cure for fools.
And then Geen, as his body starts convulsing and changing color because of the poison, he goes, Don Krieg!
Geen, you made a mistake in choosing to follow that man.
And then the chapter ends with Luffy screaming out, Krieg! And ladies and gentlemen, that is the final chapter for Volume 7 of One Piece. Interesting. Very interesting. Like I say in all of my read-throughs of these One Piece volumes, I'm enjoying myself going through every single one of these volumes. I'm looking forward to the next one, because I believe that's when the fight between Don Krieg and pretty much everyone else gets way more intense. So I'm looking forward to it. There's not much else I can say about this chapter, except that it's a good thing I had this water here, because doing Don Krieg's voice, yeah, that requires some very deep, forceful gruffness. And I remember when I first tried to do a voice like that, I couldn't speak for a month. Or it was entirely difficult for me to swallow for a month, because my voice was that raspy and my vocal cords, I basically stripped my throat the first time I tried to read like that. But now I'm able to sustain that a lot better because I've grown used to it. So I'm glad I'm able to do these voices for all of you. Fantastic volume. Looking forward to volume 8 tomorrow. I told y'all we're doing these every day except for Sundays until I fully catch up to volume 82. So I'm looking forward to just seeing the entire story of One Piece with my own eyes, reading it entirely all for you. And all I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, share this stream with everyone you know, because the more the merrier. And maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later peoples!